Hello, and welcome to today's PD and Pieces. Here we're going to dive into the world of open syllables and ask and answer the question, well, what are they? What are open syllables? Today, the goal is to give you a quick, practical understanding of what open syllables are and how to recognize them. So, what are open syllables? Let's start with a definition. An open syllable is a syllable that ends with a vowel, and the vowel is going to say its long sound. So let's think of this word no. You can see it here placed within a door. The door is open, and you can see the syllable ends with the vowel letter O. The O, we can hear it saying its name, the long vowel sound O. And because the door is open, I teach my students that long vowels, when they say their name, they can go on forever. No, you hear that O sound really extended. So open syllables are easy to recognize because they don't have that consonant closing them in. So be sure that when you teach kids open syllables, you give them this clear definition that it's a syllable that ends with a vowel, and because it ends with a vowel, it's going to say its long sound. So let's explore some words with open syllables. We're going to start with one syllable words. We have hi, my, she, and go. And I've placed them inside these doors just as a visual reminder for you. And this is really helpful for students as well, so that they can remember that an open syllable has nothing closing in the vowel. So the vowel is free to say its long sound. So in the word hi, you hear the syllable ending with an I sound. The vowel is saying its long sound. In my, you hear the Y representing the long I sound, which was one of the long vowel sounds that Y can make. She, you hear the E very clearly, and go, you hear the O very clearly at the end of the syllable. Now, it's also important to note that open syllables are going to show up a lot in multi-syllabic words. So let's take a look at some of these words. We have halo, open, lion, and volcano. Can you spot any of the open syllables? It does take a little bit of syllabication practice, but if you divide the syllables correctly, you'll notice halo has two open syllables. Open begins with an open syllable, which is, again, is why you hear the O very clearly at the beginning of that word. Lion is divided right between those two vowels, and you hear the first syllable, lie, ending with that long vowel sound, I. And volcano actually has two open syllables, the middle syllable and the last syllable. That's why it's pronounced K, you hear the A, and then no, you hear the O. It's really important to be able to break words into syllables because it helps students to decode them a little bit more easily and know what vowel sound is going to be used within the syllable. Why it's important. Open syllables are actually the second most common syllable type in English. So if you take a look at this pie chart, the numbers are based on a study that analyzed thousands and thousands of English words. And you can see that open syllables are right behind closed syllables as the second most common syllable type in English. Second, it's also important because it's foundational for decoding and spelling. So kids are going to be able to apply their knowledge of an open syllable as well as the other syllable types to know what vowel sound the vowel letter will make in a syllable. And it helps them to decode. It also helps them to spell. It also helps with understanding longer multi-syllabic words, right? So if you take the word potato, right? If you can break that down, you can apply the knowledge that, oh, I see three open syllables. And that probably means that those vowels within each of those syllables are going to be long. Po, I hear the O. Te, I hear the A. And toe, I hear the O again. Same thing with iodine, right? We can break those syllables apart and we can clearly hear the long vowel sounds within those syllables. I, O, dine. And same thing with the word robot, right? We hear that O very clearly at the end of the first syllable. So instruction in syllables is actually an essential component of structured literacy. So now I think you know all about open syllables. Please go ahead and check out our other PD and Pieces, the Teaching Tips edition, where you're going to learn about how to teach open syllables to your students. So thanks for joining us and come back soon.